Boo 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 boo. Boo boo.
I think it was too slow.
Boo boo. Boo boo. Boo boo. Boo boo.
Santa
Boo boo.
baby.
Boo boo. Boo boo. Boo boo.
Car.
Boo,
For
boo,
me.
boo.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Lawrence Watson Show. Here on here on any number of places where you get your podcasts. John told me about the whole Wishka deal. You can't actually listen to podcasts on Wishka unless you have the link
What's Wishka?
Wishka.
where I upload the podcast.
That's our hosting site.
Yeah.
Oh.
So actually, you can consume us on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Castbox,
Podcast Addict.
Podcast Addict, and any number of other places.
Well, the audio quality on the Podcast Addict and Castbox, not that great.
Okay,
I found.
So
YouTube is the best.
there's your warning. Well, I uploaded
Content quality, unfortunately, is the same.
So that actually brings us right into our first topic today. We have a whole bunch of new fan letters. So we have some fan letters. We've divided them up so that each of us will read one except Tim, because we only got 3, and Tim, you're low man in seniority. Sorry, Tim.
It happens.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm here with Jeff and John and Tim as always, and we're going to get right into our fan letters here because we appreciate your feedback. So here's the first letter. It says, "Dear Lawrence, John, Jeff, and Tim, I've been listening since episode 5. Actually, I listened to episode 1, but the Doug content was so boring that I turned it off until I'd heard you fired him. I suppose the most recent episode he appeared in wasn't so bad. I'm writing in to say that I still haven't received my light spindle and was wondering when I could expect that. Also, I was wondering if anyone has seen the big orange extension cord that I normally store in the basement. I use it to plug in my lights because it's the only one long enough to go all the way across the street into my neighbor's external outlet. I looked in the box next to the toilet marked Christmas, but it ain't there. If anyone's seen it, let me know. Name withheld by request."
Okay. Well, name withheld. Why
Yeah.
do you keep your Christmas decorations next to the toilet? Is my first question.
Well, I think, I assume it's the basement.
Oh.
I assume it's a basement toilet. But to answer your question, I haven't seen your big orange extension cord, and you probably shouldn't be stealing your neighbor's electricity. But as far as the free light spindle, take that up with Doug. He gave his email address in the last episode for his blog, and you can contact him there.
And he was also just lying about that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he lies a lot.
Yeah. Well, we all lie.
Our entire lives are a lie.
Yeah.
This is why we do this show.
Yeah. So we can lie to people.
Right. We sit here with our giant wieners.
Oh my God! So, after a heavy editing process for the last 20 minutes, we're going to go to our next letter, and that's going to be read by John.
Wait, there was a letter?
Letter number 2. Horny single older women. Whoop, hold on.
that was just was that like a porn, like your
Don't worry about
your
it.
Fet Life?
Don't worry about
Your
it.
Fet Life
Don't worry
was,
about it.
Adultfriendfinder.com.
Don't. Nobody needs. They're our
You have a new
sponsor, and
message.
John started to read that by mistake. If Lawrence wants a ride home, he'll edit that out. All right. Now we actually have a letter here.
Okay.
Okay, dear Lawrence Watson Show, I've been a listener of your show since the first episode back in season 1. Oh, a full timer.
All the way back.
Yeah. I have been with you through the ups, downs, all the plot twists, cliffhangers, surprise endings, and kill-offs. Okay, and I must say it used to be an extremely compelling series. In the early days, I have been recommending the show to my friends, but lately, the show just isn't what it used to be. For die-hard fans like me, and the handful of true fans out there, It seems like the show got stale once everybody else started listening. And now you're playing to a mass audience instead of those who liked the show before it was cool. Oh. My question is,
Yikes.
are you guys ever going to get back to the magic of those old shows? I mean, it used to be just about the content, but none of that seems to matter to you now that you got popular. You totally ditched those of us who were there from the beginning, and you forgot that it was us who got you where you are today. You would be nowhere without your true fans, and you went and turned your back on us and sold out at the first opportunity, and it kind of goes on like this. Mainstream, just corporate America.
Okay.
In closing, what happened to you guys? I missed my show, Alan from Portland, Oregon.
Well, Alan, in Portland, to answer your question, no, we won't be going back to our original content.
I think it really took a turn for a worse when you could actually understand what everyone was saying.
Yeah.
It really
All
lost
the magic
charm.
was lost. Yeah.
All the true fans used to enjoy playing guessing games of what we actually said.
Well, they could assume that what we were saying was good.
Yeah.
Right? Now
Well,
they know it sucks.
I think we went all Hollywood with our new shit.
Yeah,
It was like a creaky old log cabin.
once you invest money in something,
All of a sudden, we sold out.
yeah, it just
Used to be about the show. Now
Yeah.
it's about the equipment, man. Used to be good. And plus,
Well-
as soon as everyone else starts liking something.
Well, the thing is, when you sell out, though, you usually get paid.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Well,
Forgot about that part.
we need to work on that.
anybody wishing to sponsor us, send money.
Anyone who owns a hardware store.
Who would be our ideal sponsor? I mean, besides beer companies.
Yeah, we could do that.
Beer companies would be good.
Yeah, they're gonna sponsor the On the Wagon alcoholic.
Hey, you can show their product without actually using it. A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Jay Leno doesn't actually eat Doritos.
Does he eat anything?
Who the hell knows?
It's
I don't know.
People only do things because they get paid. And that's just sad.
Yeah, man. Why doesn't everybody just sit back, smoke a joint, relax, man?
Well, are we up on
just ever seen
Patreon
Wayne's
where
World.
like people can donate to the show?
We were, but John was the only person who donated. So
So he made 6 of my dollars.
Wow.
yeah, actually, I only made about 4 because Patreon took.
Scumbags.
Well, they
Stealing
take
from the little guy.
We sold out to the big wig Patreon, man.
So I gave up on Patreon, but if there is an outcry and you really do want to send me money, the page is still active.
What if like one of those 7 listeners is actually a millionaire? Like maybe the guy from like Sweden. I could see him being rich.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, the guy in Sweden.
Maybe.
Are Swedish people just known like they're all rich?
We would love to come visit you. All expenses paid.
Well,
Yeah, send us a
Here-
plane ticket. We'll record a
here's
show in your den.
when you're out doing your holiday shopping this time of year and you see the guy with the Santa costume on and that big kettle full of change, think twice before you throw it into the bucket and maybe, instead kick it over our way.
Yeah.
I can ask like the dialysis clinics if they want to run an ad.
Why not?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought that you meant that divert some of their funds.
that too. They don't need
Well,
it.
I mean,
Hey, ad time on the
Based
show
on-
ain't cheap.
yeah, well, based on the amount you guys drink and how fat I am, I'm sure one of us is pre-diabetic.
yeah, we'll get to the dialysis clinic eventually. One day.
So anyway,
Consider it an investment.
yeah.
Maybe like a company that makes the amputee saws.
My urine isn't dark brown yet, but it's more of
Ooh.
a like nutty, walnut.
A yellow ochre, as it were. So on that note, we're going to go to our final letter, and Jeff will be reading that one.
This letter comes from Gene in Levittown.
Ooh, a local one.
Dear Lawrence and friends, did you know that every year thousands of men are prosecuted and jailed for nothing more than acting on their natural urges? Unfortunately, society has far devolved from the near utopia enjoyed by the ancient Greeks. Today, innocent men are not only discouraged, but face severe consequences for engaging in activities that were once seen as nurturing and necessary for acquainting youth with masculinity. I've listened to your show since the beginning, and I know when I hear 3, and with the addition of Tim, 4, like-minded individuals. I write to you in hopes of coaxing your true selves out of hiding from our uninformed and closed-minded populace. With your platform and audience, you have the power and responsibility to effect change in our society and government. You may face great opposition, as have all true pioneers throughout history. But in the end, you will emerge as heroes. I encourage you to join me on the virtuous side of history and wish you great success. Gene in Levittown.
Oh, God.
I
What kind of vibes are we putting out?
I
I should have read that. I didn't read it.
I mean, two of you are Catholic.
Well,
well, I won't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
we're happy to receive any letters we can get. We'll read
Yeah.
anything on
Literally.
the air, as it's just
I mean-
become abundantly clear.
I once read a Outback Steakhouse advertisement on air, thinking it was a fan letter. So,
I think the big 50% off would have been a giveaway.
well, I didn't pay any attention before I read it. I just
We have
dove right
an
in.
email from our listener, Groupon.
Thank you, Groupon.
Thank you, Yumly, for that delicious recipe. So, getting into the meat and potatoes of our episodic discussion, we thought we'd add a little bit more structure to our show.
Why?
Well, because Dr. Tim wanted it, and
You know, he
he
comes in
annoyed
here,
us into doing it.
He just wants to change everything.
He comes on this show, man, requests all these rewrites.
Refuses to participate unless his demands are met.
I'm just saying we're not following like the hero's story. Like we have no conflict and resolution.
Next thing you know, Tim's gonna want a trailer in my backyard.
Your work is puerile and underdramatic. You lack any sense of character, structure, and the era. I forgot how that goes.
So,
So-
speaking of structure,
so dead air aside. So speaking of
Segment
structure-
1.
Segment 1, Chapter 1. So I thought we'd add a little segment to the show called History of. Now this segment on the history of literally anything could be something we're all interested in, could be something just one of us, probably me, is interested in. But in this case,
So is this where we come up with something and then we bring up the Wikipedia page and just read that?
well, you have.
reads Wikipedia.
Hey, don't knock it. It might be interesting. You never know. So
Terry Bollea was born in 1951.
Terry Jean Bollea. No. I thought for the first history of, and this idea actually came to me by extension of a conversation I had with Tim at your Halloween party, John. We were talking for quite some time about how the American Revolution started and all that good stuff for some reason. Don't ask me how we got into that, but we did. I don't.
There's always
kinda
time to
remember
talk
that.
about America.
Yeah. So, I thought a good local angle for the history of to start us off would be how we, in Western Pennsylvania, those of you who are with us, were at the epicenter of what led to the American Revolution and what led to really the First World War in the
Yeah,
Gunpowder
those guys in
Age.
Boston think they're so big.
Well, it
It's
wasn't,
the start of fucking America, dude.
and how
He just hated tea.
and how a 22-year-old kid sparked that war by shooting a French diplomat all on our soil. So, here's the deal.
Hold on. Are we talking about? You said World War One?
No, a world war.
Oh, I thought you meant like.
Not the World
The
War.
Not
War.
World War One, but a
Yeah.
world war.
I'm sorry, I missed
Thought you
rehearsal.
were
Okay.
really reaching.
See, that should teach you a lesson. Always show up to rehearsal. So, anyway, years ago, many, many years ago, in the state of Virginia, as I draw this up. Anyway, the lieutenant governor, a guy by the name of Robert Dinwiddie. He,
Sounds like a real dinwit, if you know what I mean.
in this case, he really was.
Got him.
I just feel like there's gonna be a Japanese businessman masturbating to this.
I hope so.
Like it's some sort of weird
That's-
fetish.
Tim,
There's a
that's-
fetish out there.
Tim, that's who we do this for.
the Japanese man
Even
who
if there's
are
only one
professionally-
Japanese businessman masturbating to the show, we've done our job.
So,
Next segment, Tim smells used panties.
That's after the break.
yeah, we're
Coming
doing
up
that
after
on
the
the
break.
on the second end of the show.
I mean, I'm doing it during the break. We might as well record it.
So anyway, this guy Dinwiddie, he decides to hire a military surveyor for the British Army, young guy named George Washington.
Did he have one of those measuring things that have the big wheel?
Oh yeah, he had all those surveyor's tools.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was quite good at it. That was his. That was really his prime calling in life, I think.
Good.
Wasn't
Like,
good at anything
good at
else.
measuring.
No. Certainly wasn't a good soldier.
Or general,
Yeah.
or president for that matter.
I had to use one of those big wheel things to measure my dick.
And if you remember from episode 4, you will all recall that he had VD.
Oh yeah.
Well, listen, let's not. Who are we to?
Everybody
to
had
look back
VD
and
back then.
judge?
Well, anyway, so Dinwiddie hired Washington to lead a surveying party through this area,
Sounds like fun.
to claim it for Virginia, and the by extension, Great Britain.
Boo!
At the same time, unbeknownst to them, the French were on a similar
Boo.
expedition.
Boo!
The French were on a similar expedition to claim Western Pennsylvania for Canada.
Boo! I don't like this story.
Okay, well, hold on. It gets better.
Touch our maple trees.
So,
And our luscious pelts.
our luscious pelts of beaver. So, anyway, Washington goes on this surveying expedition. And when he comes to what would become Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh area,
Down at Golden Triangle.
not quite there, but,
Braddock.
well, close enough.
Uniontown.
Yeah, Uniontown. So he ends up there, right? And they find this fort called Fort LaBeef.
Sounds delicious.
Well, Claire Peller sure thought so.
It's actually where Arby's was founded.
So they find this French fort. The French are already here. Well, they would have been beaten. So what do we do now?
Fort LaBeef curtains.
So we've already been. Oh, I'm never gonna get through this.
Now the point.
That's the idea, huh? So Washington has a meeting.
Maybe that can be the segment. Like, how long? Like,
Can we make this story last?
How long before Lawrence gives up?
yeah, it's
It's
before he
gonna
gives
turn
up.
into Dan Carlin's hardcore history.
Until he gets really angry, it's just like, well, fuck it, guys. I guess you don't care about history.
But the interesting part was the league was actually run by Lutherans.
So
Copyright Comedy Central.
Anyway, Washington has this meeting with the French folks.
Boo.
And he meets with the French diplomat.
Using
guy
their
named-
mouths, they
what?
talked.
Well, he meets with the French diplomat, a guy named Jumonville.
It's
And
pronounced Jamonville.
well, the guy's name was Jumonville.
Yeah, what were they wearing, Lawrence?
They were wearing
Glowing
clothes.
coats.
Paint the picture for the Japanese businessman.
Would the Japanese businessman rather hear the story of
Of Ben Franklin's VD?
Yes, I couldn't take it anymore.
I'm done with this show.
I'm going to explode.
Well, that's going to have to be edited off.
Didn't you learn anything from the last episode, Jeff? That's offensive. But it's
Very-
fun.
Yeah.
Apparently, I never learned anything.
Yeah. So anyway, meeting breaks down, right? And somehow or another, maybe Washington himself, he shoots
Ooh.
this guy Jumonville.
Oh.
What an asshole.
Well, may have been an accidental discharge. We don't know.
I know that
He'd been-
game.
He'd been, he'd been ill and he'd spent time in the Caribbean.
With all that VD.
You know, accidental discharge is a symptom.
The doctor told him, you have VD.
That's what they said.
Well, he's hanging with all those
had been
Frenchmen. What do you
invented yet.
expect?
You'd have that.
So, anyway, this French diplomat, Jumonville, he gets shot and killed. And when the French hear about it, it's great. When the French hear about it, another beer for the working man. So, French hear about it, right? And they're pissed.
Do they
So
call it? Do they call it the 7 Years' War because that's how long it takes people to tell the story?
Yeah.
Actually, it's called the 7 Years' War.
It didn't actually last 7 years. It lasted 7.5 years. But no
Well-
one wanted to call it the 7.5 year war.
It was what? It lasts longer than that though. It lasts
Seven and a
like
half
9
year war
years
is my
to
nickname.
30 years, depending how you view it, right? It's
Something
something
like that.
crazy like that.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, so long story short, because I think we've crossed that bridge. War starts, right?
Much like Washington crossing the.
Crossing the Delaware, where, contrary to popular belief, they didn't have a bridge. That's why you see the boat in the painting. Now, if you look closely at the painting, you'll see a few inaccuracies.
I was trying to think of which river he fell into. Was it the Monongahela?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably fell into a lot of rivers.
How'd that happen?
Well, no, he really did fall into a river
Yeah,
while
he
he was on
almost
the
froze
serving.
to death.
How did George Washington fall into the Monongahela River and Lawrence start from the beginning?
Well, I had started from the beginning. He was.
George
fell-
Washington
Oh, is
was
that,
born.
is that what your story is leading up to?
Yeah.
Is George Washington falling into the Monongahela?
Oh fuck! I ruined it.
You buried the
lead,
gave away
man.
the ending.
We need like an music segment just that kicks in like right there. and then we move on. Next segment.
So, anyway, on his way back was when it happened. He had all sorts of hardships. They nearly starved to death. He nearly drowned because he fell into the Mon.
He broke a shoelace.
Yeah.
I had to listen to a really long story that didn't go anywhere.
Oh, man. Beating you up on your own show.
I gotta like the.
I could fire you, you know.
I assume this was like a rifting segment where we roast Lawrence as he tells the story.
No, that was supposed to be.
We were saving that for later. This is going to be
Yeah.
a beat up Lawrence show.
It was supposed to be the
Beat up Lawrence Watson show.
It's not hard. I'm a bit like Bobby Hill in that you just lose me in all that dough. You could try to shape it, but you can't shape it. You can't build it up. And you can't break it down either.
All right, so George Washington fell into the Monongahela, and
Yeah.
then what happened?
Well, then he reported back to Dinwiddie what had happened, that there was probably going to be a war because he'd shot some Frenchmen, and essentially the 7 Years' War started then.
So this is what is known. This is the French and Indian War, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
our theater was the French and Indian War. The 7 Years' War was the wider global
Well,
conflict.
see, I don't know anything about European history.
Boo.
Well, in Canada, it's the 7 Years' War. That's what they call it, because that was
Stupid Canucks.
that was really where the big amount of battles and that took place. Then you, of course, you had the Braddock expedition, and without Braddock, there'd be no Mayor John Fetterman, now Lieutenant Governor, incoming Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman.
Dun, dun.
So, yeah, and that wider global conflict is eventually what led to the American Revolution, because then, of course, silly. I mean, it sounds silly when you think about it, guys, but the British expected the American colonists to pay their share of the taxes for defending them. I mean, that's
Assholes.
just silly, right? I mean, why would they think that they had the right?
They should have known a long time ago. Americans do not like taxes.
Yeah, but I mean, that's how it's.
not without representation.
They even what they got now, they say it's not representation to the hardcore libertarians.
Well, it doesn't matter for me. I'm a sovereign citizen, so I don't pay taxes.
So,
Feds are busting down the door right now.
Free man of the land.
have you ever seen that online video of that one guy who's a sovereign citizen? He wears like a tricorn hat. He's always in court. I mean, he's arrested constantly, and he shows up and just yells at the judge.
Of course, those guys are nuts.
I don't want to wear pants. I don't have to. This is my country.
Hey, that should be a rule in America.
I'm
too.
a sovereign citizen. I have diplomatic immunity.
No, they make up their own court orders and shit, and they name themselves the sheriff.
Yeah.
I think hardcore libertarians
fantastic.
and anarchists should just go live in like a country that doesn't have a strong centralized government, like
Somalia.
Afghanistan. Yeah. You're like, yes, this is a paradise.
Don't have the government on my back, man.
Everybody's got a gun. I know Timmy and I are probably more in agreement on this than you are with either of us, John and Jeff, but guns,
What about
they
him?
are a bit of a problem.
Oh, we're going there?
No. I'm just kidding.
When I got 4 problems in the other room, pal.
I saw a Facebook post today that like showed a prison shank, and it was like, doesn't matter what you make illegal, people will still find a way to kill people.
That's a silly argument.
Yeah, well, I wanted to post like it would be really hard to kill like 28 people with a prison shank, and then like at that point, if
Obviously, you never saw that part of Breaking Bad. That one.
well, those
episode.
were separate people doing the killing though. It wasn't one person with a prison shank.
With precision. I mean, the organization on that was just beautiful.
By the way, I
He
just
didn't
wanted
really
to
do
say,
much though. He was just like, here's a bunch of money, figure it out.
They all had to do it at the same time.
Hey,
Yeah.
they figured it out. It was the greatest montage on that series.
It
I know
was a good
everybody
montage.
loves Crystal Blue Persuasion. Which was the same episode, actually.
By the way, I just wanted to interrupt and say that the Americans won in the end.
Oh, get out.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the.
You mean like the Native Americans, right?
Speaking-
No, they did
I
not.
mean the North Americans.
Exactly. Speaking of the.
Which is the Europeans that
Hey.
moved.
Although, wait a minute. I should preface this by saying some Native American tribes did side with the colonists, so they technically won too.
Yeah.
No.
So about half of the Native American tribes.
I was
No,
gonna, I
I
was
think
gonna
it's-
bring
it
something.
was
I think
like
it was pretty
3.
small. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 3.
Speaking of
Okay.
the Crystal Blue Persuasion montage on Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
How much better would that be with the How It's Made guy narrating over it?
That'd be all right.
I kind of like Baby Blue playing at the very last episode. I
Well,
thought
that was a
good.
beautiful stroke of musical genius,
Yeah.
but that was definitely not a montage.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And spoiler alert for all you Breaking Bad people who are in the middle of the series now. I'll give you a moment.
At this point,
Walter White's fucking dead.
I mean, at this point,
Well, I mean, you don't really know that.
We just lost one of our 7 viewers right there. Damn it.
at this point though, who doesn't know what happened?
The masturbating Japanese businessman is like, oh, fuck.
Hoo-ah!
I was on the last episode.
I was almost finished.
In more in one way.
Oh.
Ooh.
Well, it's been about 29 minutes, so I was only about a third of the way done.
Oh, I really wanted to see that
Professional.
one Japanese movie where the guy, he's like a freak who loves like kinky sex stuff.
7 Samurai.
It's like where he wants to find he wants to find this person to kill him so that he can get off one more time because he can't get off anymore. So he's trying to find the serial killer
Feller.
to kill him.
Poor fella.
Yeah,
Damn.
so he can come again.
That's fucked up.
Do you guys think like you could like praying mantises? Like if you're a dude praying mantis, you get your head eaten.
Yeah.
Like consider how horny you've ever been. Do you think you could get to the point of horniness where you'd just be like, well, fuck it. I guess I'll just be killed after this.
You can always whack off.
I think if I was 13, I think it would happen.
You know, I was gonna say the same thing.
I think it would
Really,
it would
age.
build up to a certain point, and I'd
Before
just
you've
be
ever
like,
been laid.
yeah, I just.
Like, you know what? I would totally die.
I don't want to die a virgin, man.
I don't know where we can go from here.
Yeah, that was kind of a bummer.
I truly don't know where we can go from here. I should have picked a different topic to do the history of, something more interesting.
All right, segment 2.
Segment 2.
What's segment 2?
We don't have
But that was the problem, is it was supposed to be a commercial.
We only had one segment.
All right,
Well-
segment 2. Story time with Tim.
Yeah, we can do.
Do we have the story time with Tim music?
Does Tim have a story? That's the real question.
I could do a story.
Okay, Tim. Let's hear more about this Korean dog.
All my stories are about eating dogs.
Yeah,
Korean
good.
dog was beaten again in dog heaven. Korean dog heaven.
Was he voiced by Burt Reynolds in the movie?
Oh, that would be great if they turned that story into a touching cartoon or like a Homeward Bound.
A Hallmark movie.
That would be a great remake of Homeward
the
Bound.
beginning of the movie is all about like there's like the main guy.
I will
the
do
kid.
anything for you.
He's like, yeah, he's,
Look at me, company.
he's playing with his dog, and the dog's his best friend.
Oh God.
It's okay. I understand if you have to eat me.
What's wrong with your mom? Is there anything I could do
It'd be-
to
I
help?
can help. It'd be like that-
powers, you know.
It'd be like that episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force where he's, here, Shake, I'm half penicillin. Eat my head. Here, kiss my ass.
Yeah, I want to be called spaghetti.
That's
Oh, we could really do that. We better avoid this.
Terrence, you have my heart.
And Terrence, you have my soul. Terrence, you ate a bug today. He's no longer moving. You spit him out. His shell don't taste good.
It is time.
You can do with that what you want, but
Yeah,
I don't know. I
that's
mean,
probably
it
not
got
gonna
really
stay.
good at the end, so I might keep it.
Could add some music to that.
Yeah.
how about the fact that he had pyrotechnics?
Yeah.
Terrence, you have my heart.
This could kind of go with the Type 5 thing. Because I
Okay.
thought this would be like a funny bit to throw into
Yeah.
a Type 5. But I don't really know how you do it. Because at the heart of the story, I really feel like it's a story about Black Lives Matter. But it might not seem like it at first.
Tim, you're white. That's cultural appropriation.
Well, yeah, no, it's a cultural experience that I had with police officers. I don't think I told
I don't
this
think I've
one
heard
on
this
air.
one.
Are they black?
Ooh, this is new.
Oh, this is okay. So here's what happened. I was in Las Vegas, and I was dating this poly girl who was like married and stuff. But we used to go out, get drunk, and go dancing.
Wait, I'm
So
sorry.
she
What?
was-
You're
she was
you were dating
Polynesian?
a poly girl.
Polyamorous.
Oh,
so
okay.
she was married and dating other people.
Okay, I was.
Her main form of income also was she was like a cam model too.
Nice. Now I have a question
did
about
you touch
the,
her boobs?
Yeah.
I have a question about.
Oh, I did more than touch them, John.
I have a question about
Did
the
you motorboat
polyamorous
them?
part, Tim.
Kind of, yeah. What?
So I always feel like in those kind of like the open relationship and all that stuff, I always feel like the guy probably loses on that most of the time.
Well, I think it's easier to get laid.
Yeah.
Plus, too, what I've noticed when I date poly girls is one person's way more into it than the other.
Oh.
The
Like,
other's kind of.
yeah, like I kind of
I'm
feel like
not-
she was really into it. But I met her husband, which is like, that's always a weird thing when you're like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm screwing your wife on the side.
I don't mean to interrupt your story, Tim. I swear I don't. But
Yeah.
when I was.
George Washington. I
This is very
No, 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 no,
similar
no,
to.
That Jamonville guy, his wife was sleeping around.
Okay,
Not many people know this about Martha Washington, but
seriously, this comes from when I was.
George Washington was a cuckold.
he would bring his slaves in and.
So when I was first starting to do stand up, right? I did a show down at Hey Andy's in Monongahela.
didn't know they had stand up. I didn't know they had anything there.
It was not good, but there was they had actually brought in a husband and wife team who were magicians. They weren't stand-up comedy magicians. They were just magicians.
Ta-da!
Yeah. And
Ta-da!
And that night they did their last trick when he sawed her in half for real. He was sick of her shit.
well, they must have been, these people must have been thinking that this is like their professional career. They must have been on the road for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And so what happened was, after I did my show, I was about 19 at the time, I want to say. So, it's still pretty early on yet. So,
Did they invite you to like a swinger party?
you
Does
keep
it always
doing
have
this
to go to that?
so-
No.
Stop burying the lead, man.
For me, it does.
So what happened was I did my set for no they did they were I was the headliner. They opened, they did their thing, cleaned up all their crap from off the little stage area I wouldn't call it a real stage. The little area where we were performing. And then I did my set. Afterward, the lady came up to me in the bar and said, "For half of your pay tonight, I'll spend the night with you."
Nice.
And well, she was about 50, so and this is,
So you negotiated it down.
no.
And that's
Maybe
how
if she
Lawrence
was about
lost his
30,
virginity.
maybe if she was about 30, I would have. But 50, that's a little too long in the tooth for me.
Wait, so was this before or after you met Laura?
Way before.
Well, I think you should have took it.
What stage?
I was-
What happens at Hey Annie's stays at Hey Annie's?
Nothing happens at Hey
Nothing
Annie's.
ever.
That's not true. What is it? Shit. I'm getting into Mon Valley lore here, but
yeah.
didn't something go down? No, that was recently.
Dude got his ass beat, or
Didn't somebody get killed there?
no? He got his ass beat. That
Just
was
got
about.
his ass beat by the pagans.
Yeah, it was about.
Okay.
That's why.
8,
Yeah,
9
that's
years
why
ago.
John's afraid of the pagans.
Yeah,
So that happened at Hey Andy's.
that happened at Hey Andy's. Yeah, which is why I'm kind of wary of Mon Valley pagans.
But other than that, I guess nothing.
I'm still
happened.
gonna try to join them. My
So-
Yamaha.
You're Scooty Putt Jr.
So yeah, they
My
after
puffy bicycle.
and I guess her husband told her to come over and since apparently from what I gathered, because I asked about it afterward. Oh yeah, they've done this before with young comics. They take half the young guy's pay, and then she doesn't spend the night with them anyway. She just kind of they get the money up front and then leaves
They
town.
take off.
Yeah,
Oh, that's ingenious.
It's
See,
a
that's
great.
where you gotta have some street
Yeah.
smarts.
That's why it's like, oh well, no, I've been around professional wrestling, so I am not a mark.
Yeah, the old lady's quite a prize, you see.
I'm not an easy mark, especially not for a 50-year-old lady.
So
But-
John, you know what that makes me think of? When we were in college, I was making out with that chick, and her husband was across the bar.
Oh yeah,
and he
remember
was like
that.
a Marine
Oh,
who just got
fuck.
back from Afghanistan or
Oh,
something.
shit.
I had to pull you aside, like I just found out that's her husband.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is.
damn,
I remember
Tim.
you saying this directly to me. If anything goes down,
I do
don't
not have your back. And you were like, Johnny, what's the big deal? I
Hey,
mean,
for all
she's
you know,
into
that guy
it.
could have been on the other side of the bar, like, oh yeah.
He was because I met him later. That was their thing. They
I'm into
were
that.
Into it, yeah.
Wow.
I'm just anti people getting their ass beat.
Well, I think I might have got my ass beat, but it probably would have been in a very different way.
Ooh.
Why'd you stop making out with my wife?
This show has taken a very interesting turn.
We're rolling with it. You don't need to comment on it this time. We're rolling. We're going.
anyways,
this is
Yeah,
the
Timmy
show,
had-
all right?
Yeah, Timmy had a story.
Back to the
Okay,
cam model.
Timmy's story. I'm sorry to interrupt you,
Oh,
but
shit.
it came to me. So anyway, go ahead.
What was
No
her
worries,
stage
no
name?
worries. I'll get off the
Get off,
swinger
nice.
stuff.
Yeah,
So like
get
we
off.
went out that night, then we went to a sex club, which was weird. It was called the Green Door. You can look it up on Wikipedia. It's
So
very
what
famous.
what goes
I'm looking
on
up right now.
in a sex club?
So
Tim?
no one was there
Oh,
because it was like 3 in the morning, and then
that
our
seems like a good time to be at a sex club.
we took a taxi there, and then our taxi driver came into the club, and we were making out, and he started jacking it as he was watching us, and it really creeped us out. Then we left. And we went to Denny's.
Someone has to go in the back of the cab and wipe
Somebody's
down all
gotta-
the loads.
Yeah,
And then someone starts jerking off at the Denny's.
just can't get away from the people jerking off. But anyways, I ate at the Denny's.
After they've jerked off.
And we bid ourselves a farewell. And by that time, I think I stopped drinking like at 12 because the sex club didn't have any alcohol and that sort of stuff. So like I drove home. Probably not like the best move, but I felt pretty sober. This is a great story.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We aren't breaking any laws here.
yeah. So, anyways, I'm going back home, and I'm about like a block from my place, and I'm new to Vegas, and I almost missed the turn. So I get into the turn lane kind of like fast, and then make the left turn, and then there was a cop behind me. So immediately, lights and sirens, I get pulled over, and they pull me over. And they're like, "Oh, have you had anything to drink?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did, but I think I'm I'm good. And they're like, well, what have you been doing tonight?
We'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, of course.
Please tell me when he asked what you've been doing tonight. You told him everything that you've told us up until now.
Not yet. And I'm like, oh, not a whole lot. I just went out with a friend. We were having drinks
At a sex club.
at a sex club.
Everybody knows right
No,
now.
that was a
Get out
dry
of the car,
sex
please.
club.
Cab driver jerking off, typical Saturday night.
And then he like shines his light on me, and he's like, "So, do you want to tell me why you have blood all over your hands?" So I look at my hand, and there's blood all over them, and I go, "Oh, that."
This is tomato juice.
That's nothing.
It's a ketchup, officer.
That's nothing. Don't worry about that. And he's like, don't worry about it. So you see what happened, folks. Audience at home, if you haven't already guessed, the young lady I was with was on her period at the time. And at a certain point in the sex club, I guess I like somewhat finger banged her.
Finger bang,
Finger
bang,
bang.
you into my life.
Finger blasting
So
away.
from doing that, there was blood all over my hands. Now, not wanting to have to tell the police officers
Both hands.
the full story. Yeah, actually, I think they were.
How did you not notice this at the Denny's?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Can you pass the ketchup? Ooh.
There was some waiter. The waiter at Denny's saw your hands and made him uncomfortable.
Maybe we didn't eat at Denny's, or maybe I should leave that part out if I'm doing it as stand-up, because yeah, that wouldn't make sense. But that's that's a good pickup. I don't know.
That's a good pickup. Hey, I want to take you to Denny's.
Maybe I just added the Denny's because I was just like, yeah, I totally ate before I drove back home.
Diluted
Like,
some
to
of the
make,
alcohol.
to make it sound
That's
like
the
less
story
bad.
you gave the cop.
Yeah,
And you're sticking to it, even though it lacks continuity.
yeah. But anyways, I had to tell the two police
Tim, you're
officers.
ruining the show.
I know. I had to tell the two police officers like the whole story of like finger banging this chick.
And the cab driver whacking it whenever.
Well, it was funny. I told them the story like, oh, I was finger banging a girl and I got blood all over my hands, and they just
the
went
cop
like,
started jacking it.
no, the cop was just like, okay. So this is where. Yeah. So
yeah,
this is like
be on your way.
this is where I work in. This is why I believe in Black Lives Matters.
Yes, I've heard that women do menstruate, so your story checks out.
There is no way if I was a minority.
Look at this, Earl, every month.
Yeah. This is why I totally buy into that movement, though. Like, there's no possible way. There's no way if I was a minority and a cop pulled me over and said, why do you have blood all over your hands? Oh, that's nothing.
That's nothing. That's nothing. You don't gotta worry about that.
I was drinking earlier, but I think I'm good now.
Yeah.
I might be a little bit drunk,
sobriety
officer.
check.
Oh, they made me blow into the thing.
Oh, okay.
And they let me off.
They let you off.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know. I want to form that into like a punchline about Black Lives Matter, because I think that's
Well,
like,
just what you had there was really good.
I think that's true though. Like, there's no way. Like,
I'm sure there's no way. I'm sure you're right. It's just,
Yeah, I think you're right.
if
I
I was
think-
Darnell, there's no way.
I think what you should do is begin your set with, I'm a white guy. Anybody else white?
nobody, huh?
I mean, I guess if I was a minority, the blood
Maybe
would
if
be
you
a
did that-
little bit harder to see, but even still, I think
Maybe if you did that set at the Apollo Theater, and
That could
John's
go-
joke would go over there.
that could go really well or really horrible.
Yeah. Only one way to find out, Tim.
You may not
Call
know
up
this about
Steve
me.
Harvey.
You gotta get booked, man.
Or even better, if I did that story on Family Feud. So, Steve, I want to relate to you about something.
No.
I totally got off, even though I had blood all over my hands. You guys know what that's
I think
like.
it would be better
You
if you
con
did it-
people get everything, don't
if
you?
you did it on Jeopardy.
Not here with
Tim was
Williams.
telling us one of his news stories that he has.
Yeah, so I fingered this chick.
Now,
cab
Tim, we
driver was
understand. Tim, we understand. You got into a little bit of trouble with the Las Vegas police. Would you want to tell us about that story?
Tim, our 17-time returning champion, running out of stories here.
We're telling The Price is Right. Remember, always spay or neuter your girlfriends.
Speaking of menstrual cycles,
Oh my God! So I think this would be a good time to go to commercial. So on that note, because because I want to pause for a little while. That's why I want to take a break.
All right.
So now's a good time, I think, to go to a commercial. So we'll be back.
Commercial.
Yeah,
We'll be right back after this.
Yeah, we'll be back with more after this. Hey guys, Bob Gore here. Now I know you all remember me from my days playing for Johnny Majors at Pitt, but that was a long time ago. I bet you're wondering what your old boy Bob has been up to recently.
What have you been up to, Bob?
Well, I'm glad you asked, George. After my college playing days were over, I became a pro. NFL, CFL, even the XFL. But I had to face facts. Old Bob's playing days were behind him.
What you been up to after that, Bob? The XFL was a long time ago.
Well, rather than try and milk a few more minutes of relevance by being a pundit, where my ranking of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league would be gone over with a fine-tooth comb,
Well, who the hell needs that aggravation?
I decided to do something that no old retired football player has ever done before.
What's that, Bob?
I opened my very own restaurant. That's right, my very own restaurant, Bob Gore's Brisket Basket. Not only do we serve up the very best brisket in the whole damn town, but if you show up with a vintage Bob Gore jersey and you weigh over 300 pounds, you eat half price.
Wow, that sounds like one hell of a deal.
And that's not all. Our Big Bob's basket of brisket and salad bar can feed the whole family for just $19.99. You're not going to get a deal like that over at Ponderosa. So come on down and see us at our new Beltsuver location. That's Bob Gore's Brisket Basket in Beltsuver.
Where's that again?
Beltsuver.
What's that name again?
Bob Gore's Brisket Basket.
What's that name again in location?
Bob Gore's Brisket Basket in Beltsuver.
I don't think the people in the back quite heard you.
That's Bob Gore's Brisket Basket in Beltsuver.
What's that name again?
Bob Gore's Brisket Basket in Beltsuver.
Where the hell is it?
It's in Beltsuver, George.
What's that name again?
Bob Gore's Brisket Basket.
I don't think the people in the back quite heard you.
Damn it, George. And we're back. So I wanted to begin this next segment. It's called, this next segment is entitled Lawrence's Adventures in Music.
Music, music, music.
And I wanted to preface this by saying that the three people with me on this podcast are at least musicians to some extent.
Juilliard trained.
Berkeley School of Music trained.
my dorm room, I got like a $3 harmonica.
Now, wait a minute. Now, here's my question to you. How do you define musician?
You can play an instrument.
Yeah, you're using that term
Now,
quite liberally.
the word
Yeah.
play.
Own.
Yeah.
No, I see. I think I want to clarify something here.
Okay, clarify.
Some
We're like
dickhead,
all musicians, man.
some dickhead with a guitar that can't get beyond campfire level strumming. Would you call that a musician?
Probably not.
I guess Sean's not a musician then.
Well, my influences are like Stevie Ray Vaughan, the Beatles,
I'm
Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
It's Dave Matthews
Jeff
and
Beck.
nothing else for me.
Spoken like a true Dave Matthews fan.
Yeah.
That guy's a fucking genius.
Hootie and the Blowfish.
Have you heard Crash?
I dated a girl a long time ago who loved Dave Matthews, and
I listened to that.
Did
Shiver
you-
About
Well,
the Rain.
you didn't marry that girl, did you?
Hey, John.
no, I did not.
That's how
John.
that story ended.
Did you crash into her?
Pussy.
Apparently not, because she dumped me
Didn't work.
shortly after she saw Dave Matthews.
Well, that's a real. No,
That was
what
a real
I'm trying
bummer.
to do there is like figure out Dave
think-
Matthews songs and then just keep the titles going. But I only know Crash, and that's it. How many Crash
I
references?
think you
All
should
right, I got
blame
one. I
Dave
got one.
Matthews for your breakup.
Maybe. But if your girlfriend broke up with you over Dave Matthews, what would you say?
Thank you.
For those of you in the room, that's actually a Dave Matthews song.
Oh, what would I say?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I had to listen to a lot of Dave Matthews back in the summer of, I want to say 2008, when I would ride into work with a friend, and he would play that same goddamn album that had just come out.
Oh, the popular one.
Yeah, the popular
The
one.
popular one.
The one with Crash on it.
Was that the name of
Was
the
that
album,
the
the
one?
popular one?
No, Crash was out before 2006.
I
anyway.
just remember the song Crash and the one that was like, don't talk about the weather. That song was popular too.
I don't know.
Okay,
That's
the album
So-
was Big Whiskey and the Gru Grux King.
I thought they were
that's
saying
what it
Gru
was.
Grux Grand. I'm like, ooh, that's a little rough.
No, it was the Gru Grux King by Dave Matthews.
This is our
And I
new
had to listen to it every
segment on
goddamn
Dave
morning.
Matthews.
It was like
Oh my god.
Somebody's crying in another favorite song.
He's so good.
He's a genius.
Fucking genius.
I had to listen to that
Genius,
every
man.
morning.
So,
In the goddamn ice truck.
He has
No,
a
not in the ice
violin
truck. We
and
didn't have a radio in
saxophone.
there.
Oh.
It was on the way to work.
On the way to
well,
the ice truck.
Well, the guy who it was his car, and he put the music on.
Was it Tom?
It was his name was Tom.
Did
And
he shit his pants one time?
He probably shit his pants lots of times, but he would just be asleep in the back seat while we had to listen to his shitty Dave Matthews.
If he's asleep, why don't you just change it?
then he'd wake up. He was just resting his eyes.
I don't know. I didn't want to take my car.
Oh,
So,
because in exchange for using his car.
Yeah, we had to listen to his shitty music.
yeah, well, works out that way. So, you can burp into the microphone. That's now a feature for this
Yeah,
podcast.
it's a little obnoxious, I think.
Well,
I think it's quite.
Laura told me
unrefined.
that when I told Laura about the first time I burped into the microphone, you had a conniption. She said you should have left it in. It would have been funnier. I edited it out, obviously. So since
She's
then, I've been.
Australian. What does she know about
Yeah,
humor?
we don't want to keep any funny parts in here.
No, we're a very serious program. So on that note,
program. Well, I think I have a very good definition about what makes a person a musician versus being a guy who just fucks around.
okay, you had a band.
No, I'm not going that direction.
Okay.
I think
Trust me, having a band doesn't make you a musician. We saw the battle of the bands in high school, and there are plenty of non-musicians who are in bands.
I would say if you can play an instrument and read music while playing that instrument, that will make you a musician.
Okay, I can
So
read.
Timmy, you qualify.
But the thing is, I can play, like, I can read and play piano music, but nothing beyond like Jingle Bells or some shit like that.
I'm not talking about piano music. It's just
But I'm saying if that
I
was all
know
I
that,
could do, would
uh,
that make me a musician?
yeah. If you can look at music notation, and know what they're supposed to do, I would say that qualifies you as a musician.
So what does that make the Beatles?
Well,
Since we're on to this now.
I guess to my definition, they don't qualify.
Yeah. So what does John know?
So finally, we agree about something.
Oh, this would have been a perfect moment for Laura to be here, but she's not.
Okay, so I
Lawrence, I can't stand the goddamn Beatles.
I should have asked her if she could stand the honky tonk man.
Sergeant Pepper is an asshole.
I was getting them all in at once.
Get them all in at once. But anyhow, never mind. My definition is flawed. Forget about it.
Clearly, yeah. So
Forget about
Your
it.
definition stinks.
My definition
Boo.
fucking stinks.
So anyway, you guys are, to my definition, musicians to whatever extent.
What makes a musician?
You can play an instrument. So on that note, I have been spending the last few months trying to learn how to play an instrument as well. Now, I can't play at all. There's a difference between noodling around, like, say, maybe what Tim does, noodling around a bit, what John does, noodling
Lawrence,
around.
come
like
on. The
noodling.
kazoo can't be that hard.
Never mind.
So,
I have a kazoo in C, a kazoo in F.
Kazoo has a story history.
You know, there has to be professional kazoo
There
players.
are.
I'm sure there
It
are.
was actually used quite a bit in kind of
Looney
like,
Tunes.
No, old country music, especially like older kind of ragtime and things like that. Carolina chocolate drops use it a lot.
Little dog, kazoo up his ass.
Do you remember the secondhand T-shirt that we got? I have no idea where the hell it came from, but it was like the so-and-so school kazoo band.
No,
You had a T-shirt.
I don't think so.
Now it barely fit when you were 10,
Oh shit.
but one time you put it on, and you were standing around with your chest out and your arms on your hips, like with super pride, with the kazoo band T-shirt, and it was fucking hilarious.
Oh my god. What happened to the shirt?
It's gone.
Oh no.
It's gone. Although we have a new idea for a business enterprise: kazoo band T-shirts.
There we
The
go.
Lawrence Watson
Good
Show
idea.
official kazoo band.
Maybe
Oh,
we can
that'd
make a
be-
new theme.
That would have been perfect like 10 or 15 years ago when people were wearing those
T-shirts,
fake
yeah.
vintage T-shirts
Yeah.
that would have some like silly name of a business on
Mike's
it.
Auto Body.
Yeah, like Mike's cock sucker auto body.
Well, suck your cock for 1995.
Be like, yeah.
Well, suck any.
We
suck any
make a
cock.
new-
We're on $29.99.
New opening theme. All kazoo. We each get a kazoo. We figure it out. Yeah.
Well, see, this goes back to my point. Like I said, I can't play an instrument, not even kazoo.
What about Hawaiian nose humming?
Yeah,
What about the recorder?
I couldn't even play that.
Oh shit.
Well, then you're fucked.
Yeah, I couldn't even play
If
that.
you can't play a recorder,
Well, no, I
and
could
every
play.
third grader in America knows how to play the recorder.
Can
Oh,
you
it's bad
can
at
you
it.
drum with 2 pencils on a desk?
Not well. I can do it. It's like I could play recorder a little bit. Like I could play hot cross buns.
Hot cross buns does not fucking count.
See?
We had a guy. You remember him? I don't want to say any names, but he was
He
Just say the name,
entered
he's
the
not
talent
listening.
show.
Yes.
dressed up.
Played-
Wearing
Dre-
a cowboy hat.
No, I thought he was
No.
dressed up as like he had like a really nice like.
It was a really
jazzy
nice,
suit.
like jazzy pinstripe suit and like a fedora hat with like this
Oh.
black shirt and a white tie and a black suit with white pinstripes and the black fedora hat and the white stripe or something like that. This is 20
yes.
years ago, and then played on the saxophone hot crossed buns.
I wonder if his mom was like very like.
Oh, his mom totally made him do that.
No, I wonder if he was like trying to play like When the Saints Come In or something, and his mom was hearing him try to play it and was like, "Hey, babe, that's really good, but you know the one I really like that you play, Hot Cross Buns."
Tim, we had a lot of interaction with this family.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And that his mom,
Tragic
whatever he
story.
did, his mom had 100% total control over, and she totally.
Speaking
made him
of
do that.
dialysis clinics,
Oh,
Oh God.
anyhow,
I'd have to assume that's how that.
She's dead.
well, now we're giving too much away here.
Oh.
Yeah, we're
We're giving too much away. However, to get that type of get up going on, and to be playing 3 notes.
Yeah, we all know how hot cross buns goes, all right.
This is for our listeners that don't know.
Who gives a shit?
They
if
don't-
they
they
don't
don't
know in Scandinavia.
If they don't know,
They don't have
then they're
hot-
not musicians.
I was just thinking, we have one guy in Sweden that listens. He might not know what hot cross buns are.
buns, hot cross the buns.
And our Swedish market has been shot.
We call them. Hey, that would have been a better joke if I had something after that.
He had something.
Over fermented fish bones. Over fermented fish bones.
Wanting Glergen, Tugen Glergen, over.
well. Now that we've alienated an entire country,
It was only one guy,
well,
and he probably is getting a real kick out of it because
I don't know if it is one guy. It could be several.
these stupid Americans don't know anything about us.
It could be several.
And he's right.
people from Sweden.
We don't.
I don't know shit about Sweden.
We know enough about your hockey players, but that's about it.
It's next to either Norway or Finland. That's all I know about
both
Sweden.
at the same time.
Oh,
It's in the middle.
lucky me.
Yeah.
Finland's on the right.
Norway's on the left.
And Denmark is to the south, and that's Scandinavia.
So
There's a little bit of geography in
yeah,
every show.
in our music
geography
portion,
segment of the program.
that was Jeff's segment. Everybody.
I mean, culturally, does Iceland and Greenland count as?
Well, Greenland is part of Denmark.
And Iceland's its own place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Iceland seems very Scandinavian, even though
It is, yeah,
Does
but
it still count as a Scandinavian country?
I don't think it does.
No, it's not.
it doesn't count as one, but they.
But don't they have like the Scandinavian type flag though?
Yeah, they do. They have.
Then they count. They all have like the same flag. With the the solid colors and the solid
cross.
Yeah, they all count.
I think Greenland's is supposed to be a sun or some shit.
No one's there. You don't have a flag if nobody lives there.
Well, 59,000 people live there.
I think there's a thing.
If they don't
where
like it.
I think they're trying.
You
to
know
get
something?
people
That's
to
true.
move there.
Greenland has the highest suicide rate in the world.
Because
they
it
don't like
sucks.
Yeah, well. You think the people living in northern Canada might have it worse?
Greenland's all ice. Iceland's green.
Why are they
Yeah,
calling
well.
buildings when they're already done building them?
I saw
They ought
Mighty
to be
Ducks as
called
well.
I thought you had a story.
Yeah.
Here we are just jabbering.
I didn't have a story. I was just talking about
So what's the actual,
learning how to play an
okay,
instrument.
So what's the actual segment? I don't think we ever got to what.
Well, we
the
didn't even get to
segment
the
is.
instrument. So Lawrence is learning how to play an instrument.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
we haven't.
You
even
guys already
gotten
know
to
what
what
it
the
is, but-
instrument is.
You guys already know what it is.
We
but,
keep
I mean,
on
It
jabbering.
doesn't matter.
yeah. Well, it's a guitar.
The folks at home don't.
You know, I'm learning how to play guitar, everybody.
For the next
Slowly.
30 minutes, Lawrence will be.
That would alienate the rest of the audience that's still left.
4 hours of Lawrence.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Wait.
Hold on.
Now, I'd have to have a YouTube video up at the same time as I'm doing it, to help me.
Now, in order to play an E chord, you place your middle finger on the second fret of the A string, and then your ring finger on the second fret of the D string. Now, here's where it gets tricky.
So, I have no idea how I did it, but apparently I once successfully hit F.
I don't know why you start with F.
I don't know either. It was just the video that I popped up. So.
Well, this is what he
Well, if
mentioned.
you got the bar chord, are you doing it as a bar chord?
No, he's doing
No,
this.
I'm just individual note.
It's kind of like a C,
Yeah.
but you have to do the double. Why don't you learn C before F?
I don't know.
Yeah, we got shit to do.
I'm on my own here doing this. Nobody's helping me to know what should be
I'll
easier.
give you a list
G, E, and A.
of chords to learn in order. E, A, E minor. That's the easiest one.
Yeah.
E minor is the easiest.
So I should learn E minor first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's zoom, or it's a minor chord, so it's supposed to sound sad.
Welcome to Guitar Talk.
Like your guitar
I
player.
got my axe out here. It's a Gibson SG 500.
Yeah,
I
I,
have
got
my-
my axe. It's a Gibson Les Paul 1955 gold
I
top.
have my.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna play a couple riffs now.
I have my Lion by Washburn guitar here, and it was a gift to me by Jack Ruby.
That's what we should do.
Lee
It's-
Harvey Oswald, he took the gun out of the guitar case, but he never actually fired the gun.
We should do a guitar segment
With
where
Alex Jones.
where we
He
really
had to
talk
bring
about.
a capo with him to put on the end of the barrel, but he forgot it.
Oh my god. So I did successfully hit the F chord one time. Couldn't get it again, but that was about it. And that was 6 months worth of work.
6 months worth of work to hit F once.
Huh.
You should have started with E minor.
Well, in 6 more months, you'll hit it again.
Yeah, maybe.
Then you'll be on your way, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how Jimi Hendrix learned.
Have you thought about the ukulele?
Well, I don't have a ukulele.
They're $20. You can just get started right away.
John, I think that's offensive to Lawrence as being someone who's bigger.
Hey,
That you're suggesting that he plays the ukulele.
what about that guy that played the cancer song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was.
He was twice the size of Lawrence.
Well, he was Hawaiian. They're all fat.
Yeah, he was Hawaiian.
that's true.
I was gonna say Polynesian, but that wasn't correct.
The image of like the sexy Hawaiian hula skirt girl
It's not true.
It's just a myth. They're all fat.
Yeah. I heard a story or article about that, why that happened. Something with like canned food and stuff like that. Like they couldn't. Their traditional way of life was destroyed.
Was it the
processed
white?
food.
Was it the white?
White devil? Yeah,
the
of
white
course.
owners of Hawaii.
Everything
No, wait.
bad that ever happened is white people's.
The white devil
And you know what?
introduced.
Most of the time it's right.
How about all they eat is pork?
The White Devil Jack Ruby introduced canned food to Hawaii.
It's something like when
And they're not getting the important stuff anymore, like the bone broth.
once you had like global systems of distribution, like they're just getting like canned food because they're out in the middle of nowhere.
So why can't they control themselves then?
Well,
Yeah, the big
Is it,
fat
is it,
pigs.
is it the white man's fault for making the delicious canned foods that they couldn't resist?
The delicious canned foods.
Is there any good food that comes from a can?
There's lots of good foods that come in a can.
I would actually say Spam if you do it right.
I never
How would
actually
you know?
eaten Spam.
If you fry Spam, it's really tasty. Not that I'm eating it now, but fried Spam
He ate
is
it
good.
before.
Fried Spam.
You might
Yeah,
as well.
that's
It's like mostly
Speaking of
gelatin and
Hawaii,
shit
that's
anyway.
like a thing in Hawaii, fried Spam.
Fried Spam.
Yeah, they do it for breakfast.
Yeah, if
Spam
you
and
fry
eggs.
it up, it's actually quite tasty.
They have fish all around that can be fresh.
Well, again, the
Eat that.
globalized system
Right.
that screwed them
But
over.
again, the
Because they
globalists
forgot. Because they forgot that there were fish in the ocean.
No, what ends up
and ate the
happening-
canned foods instead.
What ends up
and that's the white
happening-
man's fault.
in places where there are fish is normally like poor people would eat it, right? But then it becomes popular, and then rich people buy all the fish. So then the local population can't actually eat the fish anymore.
Well, bummer for them, I guess.
Yeah, so,
And then that one
Oh,
guy
that's right,
got
you're learning
really
guitar.
fat.
yeah.
And then he played that song.
But
that-
this is kind of a fun
cancer
conversation,
song,
too.
then he
Talking
died.
about,
we're
how,
just gonna roll with it. Yeah.
talking about how fat Hawaiians are and why they like canned
What
food.
about Don Ho? He wasn't fat.
He was kind of fat.
He's on
He was a little on the...
But he
on the-
wasn't Hawaiian,
the most-
was he?
No, I think he was...
He was
he
like
Japanese?
Mexican or something.
He was the most famous ukulele player who played Hawaiian music,
Oh.
but he wasn't Hawaiian. Cultural appropriation.
Because his real name was Iglesias.
No.
No.
His real name was Donnie Ho.
You are. I don't know what his real name was, but you are perpetuating a myth
Oh.
that
Yeah, Jeff.
that former Pittsburgh radio host Doug Hirth had originally started years ago. And Doug Hirth has been dead since 2011,
And he's been off the air since, what, 2009?
2008.
So I held on to some information from an old AM radio host.
The old AM radio host had told
The
his
late Doug
audience,
Hirth.
and this guy loved to start rumors too. It was that Don Ho and Julio Iglesias were twin brothers.
Well, great segment.
I don't think there's anywhere I can go from that other than in 6 months, this is what I have to show for it. So in another 6 months, we'll come back and let everybody know how
Wait,
I'm
hold
doing.
on a
You
minute,
played
Lawrence.
F twice.
Wait a minute. So your idea this is your idea was Lawrence's adventures in music.
Yeah.
And all you're gonna do is say, I've been trying to learn to play the guitar.
I still
And
can't play the
and
guitar.
I still can't play the guitar.
And I played an F chord one time.
Yeah,
That's all you had.
yeah.
The segment could have been 20 seconds long.
Yeah, but we're getting time out of this now, so it's good. we're it's content for the listeners.
What you have to do is actually like try like a different instrument every week, every like
See,
taping.
What we should do is like we should have someone should play a song or something at the end of the segment.
Look, I have like 8 instruments in the house, and I only know how to play like 2 of them.
Well, it would be kind of interesting if we did our own music, right?
It would be funny if we formed a jazz band. And then it would be like, well, then I'd probably get sued for
could rip
appropriating
off-
John Benjamin's idea for ripping him off.
We could rip off Marin though and do like music out or in.
I don't know. These guys are kind
I
of
don't
doing
know,
my
man.
thing. I'm dealing with it. You know.
They're stealing from me, man.
Like I don't want to.
It was my thing.
I don't be one of those comics that throws out theft everywhere, man. But you know what? I'm really having a problem with this. I've been talking to my therapist for like 2 months now about this.
No, I got it. Okay. So I have that baritone horn
Yeah.
in the closet over there. So at the end of the show, a la Mark Maron, all right, I'm gonna play a little baritone now.
No, wait a minute. I'm the baritone player here. I'm the baritone player. You play your damn saxophone. You fucking readist.
And I will make
Oh,
mouth
do you have my
noises.
saxophone, by the way?
Yes, I still have.
No,
it.
I'm gonna the next
Does it
instrument
work?
I'm going to pick
Yeah.
up.
It's like all working now.
No, yeah.
Oh, I kind of want to play it after this.
Okay.
Okay.
The next instrument I'm
my-
going to pick
my
up
wife's
actually
not
is
in
the
bed.
juice harp.
Oh yeah.
You mean the Jews harp?
That's what I said. The juice harp.
You said juice.
Yeah, juice harp.
No,
Juice harp.
Well, actually,
Jewish
they-
mouth harp.
Yeah.
Actually, they does go by both names.
All right. Speaking of music,
So yeah, speaking of music, John has something he would like to bring up.
another seamless transition.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lawrence, all right. So
So
I lost a pound today.
So it's interesting that Lawrence is playing music right now because John, didn't you had something with music going on in your life right
Yeah.
now?
actually, yeah, Tim, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Whoa.
Whoa, that's how it's done, folks.
There's your fucking lead-in right there.
There it is. You know what? As of now,
We're
I think
talking about professionalism.
I'm gonna retire as host and just let Tim do it. You guys can have the show from now on. I'm just gonna go.
Hey, John, you fly a lot for your work. What are you doing at the airports?
Well, I
How many
wait.
tips for the airports?
I wait till my ticket number's called.
That's good advice.
Sometimes the lines are like really long.
And
Tell
so-
us more about that.
Well, when that happens, I usually have a book with me that I read.
Do you get anything from the duty-free store?
Not
Maybe
usually.
buy some candy
One time there was a kid next to me.
on the airplane or just in the lobby.
Was he
Was he alone?
causing any trouble?
Did
No, he was sleeping quite quietly. It was a peaceful.
That's
flight.
Did
good.
you,
'Cause sometimes kids they can be a little rambunctious.
Not
little
this
bit,
one.
yeah.
This kid slept the whole flight.
wow,
That's good.
incredible. Did you
And-
put something in
and
his
you know,
drink, Bill?
it was supposed to be a longer flight, but it actually it arrived quite early.
Like 20 minutes?
Yeah, there weren't any delays or problems with baggage.
Wow.
How was the food?
Quite good actually. Quite good.
Did you-
Lots of vegan options for you?
Yeah. That,
remember
that's what I want to see. I want to see the segment on like Jay Leno where he asked the comedian all those questions, and that's
You've been traveling the airline. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good.
You've been traveling the airlines pretty good.
I mean, when you consider the volume of people they move, like they do a great
I'm
job.
gonna start. I'm gonna start my own vegan airline.
So
Except
did you have the
can't.
lasagna
except-
and a fish?
I'm gonna start my own vegan airline. Except we can never get off the ground because all the jet fuel is fossil fuels, and that's made from animals.
Oh my god. So, John,
What?
I'm learning to play an instrument these days, and you had a story about music, so why don't you just go ahead?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did have a story. I've been playing in a community band for a number of weeks now. And we've been putting together a Christmas program. And kind of interesting is that these days the song Baby It's Cold Outside, including one of our local radio stations, no longer plays it.
Which one?
That one. I don't know. I didn't bother to find it because I don't fucking care.
Okay. I know it was in
If I
Cleveland.
want to hear the song, I'll go listen to it on my own.
That's not cool. To
Between
listen to that song, though.
between all the 60 versions that exist. But what I was getting at is that this community band that I'm playing in, we put a Christmas program together, and we are performing "Baby It's Cold Outside." However, it's a little bit odd because
Is it just instrumental though?
no,
Oh.
a couple of the band members are also vocalists, and I use that term quite loosely.
Quite useless. Like,
Uselessly, loosely, put them
it's
together.
all
What
the
do you
same.
got? The female is about 55 years old, give or take. I don't know how old she is.
Wait, can I sing the guy part? But keep her though.
I really must stay.
Maybe it's cold outside.
I gotta get out.
That's the only
Why
line I know.
are you blocking the front door?
That's all I know too. Actually, I didn't even know the John. I just know that it says "Baby, it's cold outside,"
Yeah.
and it's the title of the song.
Okay, so
Say what's in this drink?
that's the part that people get hung up on.
Yeah.
Well, that's Rohypnol.
That is the line that Bill Cosby ruined for everybody.
That's GHB.
Thanks a lot, Hannibal. Thanks a lot, Hannibal Buress, for bringing this long-standing rumor to everyone's attention.
And then conviction, believe it or not.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
But anyhow,
before we get off on that.
The
train.
male vocalist is 20 and vaguely Asian, and it's just like a humorous scene because you see two polar opposites. But at the rehearsal where they perform it with microphones, I'm trying to play the notes on the page, and I'm totally fucking distracted because it dawns on me as they're performing the song is that the lady is singing the male part, and the 20-year-old vaguely Asian male college student / alto sax player is singing the female part, and so he's trying to get out of the grasp of the 55-year-old woman.
Here's to
That
you,
makes sense. That's kind of
Mrs.
funny.
Robinson.
That's cute.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, that's cute.
It's cute when it's the woman.
Well, I'll do you one better. So our first gig, I guess, at an old folks' home was Sunday or yesterday, whatever day you're listening to this. And
Well, we're recording this on a Monday.
thanks.
So right now we're missing Monday Night Raw.
Ah, shit. And Monday Night Football
fuck.
simultaneously.
Oh, everything happens on
Actually,
Monday.
we should turn it on, and I mean,
Why did Garfield hate Monday so much when there's football and wrestling on?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
well, first of all, the director introduced this song this one's going to be performed by two consenting adults, which I thought was a clever line, but and then never made up for the fact that neither one of them could fucking sing.
aw, that's
Baby,
so
it's
nice.
cold outside.
However, it was a kind of humorous observation anyway, but which brought me to my next point is that the song "Baby It's Cold Outside," people have a problem with it now, and I get it. The line, "Hey, say what's in this drink?"
It is kind of rapey.
ever since Bill Cosby, it has become a problem. However, but no one gave a shit whenever Miss Piggy sang it to Rudolph and Rave on the Muppet Show.
I still say that song should be rewritten in modern terms, like very gender neutral, gender fluid. I think not even trying to be insulting. I think it could be really funny and still be okay, it's still good.
I don't know. See, the only way you can do it is make it like a cartoon of progressiveness. I respect your wishes. You can do what you please.
No, I bet you could do it in such a way that it would still be pretty good. And
But baby, it's cold outside due to disrupted weather patterns caused by anthropogenic global warming.
I think we could do this, guys. I think we could make a new one that's better.
Is it better or is it just different?
Update it.
Updated.
Okay, well, we'll have that on the next
Progressive.
episode then.
And it could still be pretty funny, but it could be nuanced. We could pull it off. And as for white guys, who better to do it?
Yeah. 4 straight white
Guys.
I don't think between 4 straight white guys and the song "Baby It's Cold Outside" there is no room for nuance. Everything has to be explicit that her wishes are respected, and I respect you as a person, and I'm not making you do anything you don't want to do, and I'm not going to ever acknowledge the fact that sometimes
it's just
women
Bitch,
can
get in the
coy.
kitchen and make me a sandwich.
still could be good. I think we could pull it off.
I think women have the right to be coy from time to time, and that's kind of what
Those
that
of you
song's
just
about.
joining us,
A little
this is our
coy.
second debate between Tim and John.
I'm going to go ahead first in this.
What?
What did
No.
you say?
Sorry.
The song, what I'm saying is the song suggests that sometimes women can be coy intentionally.
Listen, it's an old song.
This drink. It's a sealed bottle of Dasani. I handed it to you. It wasn't opened yet.
I made sure I didn't open it before, so you know that I was on the level. Coy? Who's being coy?
I love all this attention.
Actually, you know, it was 1944 society that was actually driving her out of his place. I mean, she wanted to take charge of her wishes and her freedoms, but it was everybody else that drove her out because
Yeah.
the neighbors might think and her brothers would be worried about her, and the patriarchy was driving her home when she didn't get to do what she wanted to do.
yeah,
I
they were
think
all
you
going to
could-
say that she was a hooer.
I think you could take it from that angle too. Definitely. I don't know. It's an old song. What are you gonna
Actually,
do?
the way I sees it is that it was written by a husband and wife.
Yeah. So you think it's cute and endearing.
I think it's very charming.
How about this? What's in this drink?
Baby, it's
Shut up.
I think you sold it.
What's in his drink?
So-
Bitch, get in there and make me a sandwich.
We will no longer be playing Baby It's Cold Outside. Next up, we have Gin and
What's in his
Juice.
drink?
We'll now be playing Baby, Are You Sure You Want to Drive Tonight? Now we'll be playing Baby, I'll Drive You Home Tonight. Now you're playing...
Maybe I'll call you an Uber tonight.
Maybe you're not going to remember the last 2 days.
I mean,
Baby,
it
just
is
sit
kind
right
of
there.
funny that like that song, but like I don't know. I love like still Dre, still Dre. That song's great, but at the same time, it's probably way worse than Baby It's Cold Outside.
That's what I'm saying. The song is actually quite tame.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't want to go, but my dad and my brother and society man wants me to leave.
I mean Robin Thicke, Blurred Lines is probably way worse.
I wouldn't call it worse. He's saying the lines are blurred. I don't know what to do.
Eh,
Yeah.
I want to fuck.
Just
yeah.
follow your penis.
I don't know what you're trying to tell me, so I'm just going to just wait. Hence, blurred lines. Blurred lines of consent. I don't want to cross that line,
No,
but it's blurry.
I think a
What
lot of
am I
that
to
too
do?
was like the music video was very not like ravey. It was just sort of like, come on, man, you're just really going for the lowest common denominator. It's like, oh, naked women. Look, there's naked women.
Wait, you don't like naked women?
I do like naked women, but
Okay, then.
Only if
But
they
only if they
consent
say
to
okay.
being naked.
yeah,
And they consent to me specifically viewing them.
yeah.
Only then do I enjoy it.
You specifically.
Right.
Yeah, just Jeff.
So what you're saying is, if you fantasize or if you
No, not okay. No, I
You-
don't do
Not
that.
okay.
I don't
you
do
view a nude woman who
that.
consented
I don't
being,
even say nude woman. I don't want to picture it.
who consented being
It's not okay.
photographed while you're jacking it because she
Hold
did
on,
not
whoa,
consent
whoa,
to
whoa,
you
whoa, whoa.
specifically jacking it, then all of a sudden it's rape.
I dated a girl that thought it was really hot if I asked if I could go down on her.
What?
Beforehand.
Just ask.
Like she thought, like, yeah, she was like a social warrior type, and she's like, oh, consent's so sexy. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll do that, whatever.
Yeah, it's so hot.
Can I hold your hand?
you're a fucking bummer.
Well, it would be kind of
Yeah.
funny. Like, I wouldn't stop a girl and be like, if you could please ask before you start. Whoa,
Would
whoa,
you,
whoa! What are you doing?
well, let's
You
let's
can't
stop
just
this.
touch me like that.
Let's stop
What's
this
your- why's your
blowjob right
mouth?
now.
What are the rules? What are the rules?
No, Robin Thicke kind of seems
Oh,
like a
God.
dick bag, from what I understand. So,
Well, he's Alan Thicke's kid. I mean, what are you going to expect?
yeah,
You have to admit, it was a good dance number.
I guess.
Come on, man.
Whoa, hold on. I'm about to stand
It was
up.
the song of 2013. Carly Rae Jepsen's "Call Me Maybe" was 2012, and Gangnam Style was 2011.
I'll be honest, I haven't listened to any music since 1989, so. And not the song 1989, I mean 1989.
Taylor Swift's album 1989.
No, I mean 1989, the year.
It's a good album. You should listen to it.
I don't like Taylor Swift
Why?
because I don't like her music.
Oh, you should listen to Ryan Adams. He has a full cover.
Brian Adams?
Ryan Adams.
Oh,
Different guy.
Yeah.
Minus the B.
Is he Canadian?
1989 or whatever it is. It's really good. It's really depressing.
cool. I'll get right into that.
Why do you like depressing shit so much?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Listen to
I
Tom
have an
Waits.
answer.
It's great because it's depressing.
I think like
I
depressing
think it's
lyrics
great,
are.
but
And the
it's
sad
Just a
magician.
The depressing part is that
It's more real,
secondary.
man. I don't know.
It's not real.
I think depressing
I don't.
lyrics
I
are
have never
more
come
deep
across
usually.
one-armed go-go dancers in my life. I don't understand why Tom Waits. It seems to happen to him all the time.
Just hanging out with the wrong crowd, man.
Oh, obviously.
What's in this drink? Zoloft.
Zoloft don't fuck you up.
Take enough of it, it will.
Who's tried?
Roseanne.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that what she was taking when she made?
No,
all
it
the
was
racist-
Ambien.
was Ambien.
Ambien. That will fuck you up.
Can you really get that racist off of it?
No,
I saw the interview afterwards. That
you
she
can't,
put
but
on
it will make you
YouTube.
hallucinate if you take enough of it.
I think she's. I think she's like on pain pills or something. I don't think she's like totally.
No, she's been on antipsychotics for a while.
Yeah, she's obviously not quite. There's
There.
something going on.
I mean, she spent a good number of months in a mental hospital when she was a teenager. Don't know what the hell's going on with her.
I think it's like an imbalance. But also at the same time, I think if you're a celebrity, people don't want you to have like good mental health
Or
Like,
opinions.
Yeah. Well, no.
No, just opinions in general. You know, because you can go on both ways. You don't want to hear. I don't want to hear Kelsey Grammer talk about how good Mike Huckabee is.
Yeah.
And I like Kelsey Grammer.
And Republicans don't want to hear Jimmy Kimmel or Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, they
But
don't.
I want to
rattle
hear.
off
I want to
their
hear
political
Sideshow
beliefs.
Bob
I think you can
talk
do.
about Mike Huckabee.
I think you can go the other way though. If you're someone who's edgy and you have a problem, sometimes it's
I got a problem, man, with this other comic.
no. But it's like if you're like maybe an artist or like and you're addicted to a drug, there's going to be a lot of people around you that will just that you're their paycheck and will just let you keep doing it instead of making you seek help.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, there's no question about that.
So I don't know. I kind of feel like that's probably part of what happened to her.
I think Roseanne needs to be
A lot of people around her are just like, yeah, you're right.
No, I wouldn't even go as far as that. I would just say like approach with a degree of
Empathy
discretion,
for
a degree of discretion, and
addiction
a
or
degree of
whatever's
empathy,
going on,
or
yeah.
mental illness.
yeah, mental illness or there's something up with her.
We wish her the best in
Because
all her future endeavors.
because the other thing is, when it comes to the big things that she wishes for the world, her heart is in the betterment of everybody. And so, because she gets a good cut in
Yeah,
there,
there's a lot of hate in there. I don't know, man.
well,
Yeah, but something clearly happened to her from the '90s when she was this, this liberal working class warrior to
championing lesbianism.
she something changed. I don't something did change. She was not this. She's not been this hateful. Is I guess the word for it.
yeah, I think something's going on, but who knows?
Yeah, but not my place to diagnose. I'm not a psychologist. I have not examined
Well,
her.
actually, it's my place to.
all right, Doctor.
By the
Jeff.
way, have any of you guys actually seen the rebooted version of the show?
No.
no,
No? Okay.
was it good?
I've seen it, but I mean, it's okay.
Did it hit the same beats the old show did? Did you get the same vibe?
You know what? I will say this. It's nowhere near. I shouldn't say it. It's not as good as the old show was, But I will say it is.
And to clarify the old show, I'm talking Roseanne.
original Roseanne.
Seasons 1 through 6.
Yeah.
7 and 8 got a little bit off the
Yeah.
rails.
Yeah. The original Roseanne. It is funny. It's not as good as that. But this new one, the Connors one, it's funny. It's not bad.
I'm talking about the season 10 of Roseanne.
Oh, that?
How was that?
The one episode I saw, I didn't like. I didn't think it was funny.
Oh, I heard the most basic white girl conversation the other night.
But I don't know if it improved on any of the other episodes.
Basic white girl
Okay,
conversation.
Yeah.
Go.
So
Go.
two basic white
Right now.
girls.
Timmy, we got Timmy in Blondock's Basic White Girl. Go ahead, Timmy. Timmy, we got you on. Go.
So Tim, I hear you. So you don't like basic white girls? Tell me more about that.
Here's the line from it. I think the new Fuller House is actually better than the old Full House.
Oh, feck off.
They are
Okay.
both terrible.
Okay, old Full House, awful, sappy,
Yeah.
bullshit. And I actually did see the first episode of the new Full House.
The Fuller House.
I wanted to vomit,
yeah.
and it was really hard to watch.
I think
My-
isn't the new one.
My wife wanted to watch it, and I said I'll watch.
Basic white
I
girl.
said I'll watch one, and I had a bad time.
You got basic white girl.
I guess.
Was
You know
it-
what? We're all about conflict here on the Lawrence Watson Show. Why don't you bring her down here to defend it?
No.
No, I don't
know.
think that'd be a good idea.
I knew the answer was going to be no.
So I've got a question about that because I haven't seen it. Is it as meta? Does it think it's as meta as it advertises itself as?
I only saw the one,
Oh yeah,
and that one had a lot of like references.
Yeah, then
was
it is.
very,
Okay.
yeah, very
terrible.
self-referential,
Yeah, terrible.
and that's the main reason I hated it. And also the child actors on that show were actually even more sickening
Wow.
than on the original show.
More sickening than Michelle.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
I will
really
say though,
bad.
I heard that the girl who played Stephanie, she's got a really tremendous rack on her. Was that a highlight of the episode for you?
Oh, the girl who played Stephanie? That
Yeah.
was her.
That
she
was
has,
Stephanie.
She has fake tits now.
Oh,
Yeah?
She also had a meth addiction. At
Can
one
I see
point.
them? I don't care about the meth. Can I see her fake tits?
I don't know.
I wouldn't. I doubt they'd be on the new Full House thing.
www.stephaniestits.com.
Actually, you're wrong about that, Lawrence. It is rife with nudity.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's why it's so
That's why it's on
popular.
Netflix, I guess. So,
They had this episode where Candace Cameron has an affair with this
Pavel
foreign,
Datsuk.
this former hockey player named Valeri. It's actually played by her husband Valeri Bure, and you get to see his his total Russian hog.
He hangs dong.
Like Jason Segel and Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Well, hey,
He
hanging
did.
dong is underrated.
Yeah, he did. John C. Reilly did in Walk Hard.
John C. Reilly didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, you're right. It wasn't John C. Reilly.
It wasn't John C.
It was
Reilly.
some other guy.
It was some dude
I
standing
swear I
next
thought
to
it
John
It was
C.
just
Reilly.
some guy standing next to
Oh,
him
okay.
that had his dick out.
No,
Okay, well, somebody
I'm just
did.
talking to Doug right now.
You never once paid for drugs. I saw that movie while high.
I saw that movie with Timmy over there
that was
in
a
the
good
theater
one, yeah.
right after a hockey game.
Yeah, that's a solid outing.
Yeah, I went and saw it in the theater. I was high. It's a great way to watch that movie. By
Okay,
the way.
what were you high on?
LSD.
Oh, nice.
So there's
See that being
just
interesting.
Doug's dicks everywhere.
Yeah. So the scene
Cavalcated dicks.
the scene with the trippy cartoon Beatles was something else. So I thought that was entertaining. Hey John, where you going? The piss.
John's
So-
gone to tinkle.
Yeah, John's gone to take a pee, so we might have to pause the show as he is the central driver in what was supposed to be this story, but somehow we got onto
Wait,
Fuller House.
Are we
so-
still on music with?
No, we passed that a long
Oh.
time ago.
No, this is still the Lawrence's Adventures in Music segment.
Yeah.
What segment is this?
I don't.
I don't.
isn't
It was supposed to be John talking. It was John talking about "Baby, It's Cold Outside." Then you and he had the debate, and then we started talking about Roseanne.
Oh, yeah,
So
captivating.
lots of dead air there, by the way, like the Clayton Douglas show.
Oh, luckily it's not live.
Yeah, if it was live, we'd be in
Yeah.
trouble.
Well, if you leave the dead air in, then our listeners get a chance to go, "Oh, thank God."
Thank God they shut the fuck up.
What's so bad about dead air?
Well, it's not very.
We have a lot of it now.
Well,
Well,
it's not very
And
professional.
hey, John's back.
John's back. No more dead air. We can always rely on him. Timmy, you're gonna have to move closer to the microphone.
yeah,
Or
whatever.
the microphone's
It's
gonna have
almost
to move
over.
closer. Yeah, I know. We're almost done.
Well, I think it's a good idea for a new format, the Dead Air Hour.
The dead air hour.
Dead air hour.
Or I just.
You turn off from microphones and then just listen to the ambience of the room.
That's what we used to do, and that was terrible. When we were recording in your living room, and especially the one that we recorded on your dining room table.
Well, you just listen to the echo of the room there.
Ooh.
Lots of terrible things have happened on that dining room table.
Lots of terrible things have happened on this show, including tonight.
I thought tonight was good.
Yeah, well. You don't know anything, John.
Obviously, you're not a professional.
Yeah, clearly. So I think we're about ready to wrap this puppy up and potentially beat it to death and feed it to
Everything
a dying
is going
Korean
to be
mother.
a dog reference for you from now on. Now, some of us are pet owners. We
I
had
thought,
a,
I thought you were going to say pedos.
I still say remake
Some of
Homeward
us are
Bound.
pedos.
I can't. Some of us are pedos. That might be the title for the show when I go back in it.
Get a whole new audience.
Oh,
that's
but
how
then again,
shameless we are.
Yeah, but then
We'll
again,
take
I'm
anybody.
yeah.
Any creep that wants to fucking listen, we'll talk to you.
Well, this is the weird part of YouTube where you can listen to the Lawrence Watson show every time I put it up there. But seriously, I think we're about ready to wrap this up. Don't you agree? We've had
No!
fun. No, you want to keep going?
No, actually, I don't.
Okay.
we got the room for another hour, actually.
Really? Another hour. I don't have anything more to talk about though. So, yeah.
It's kind of different. We don't have Doug, just shouting in from making points.
So,
So we sing the good night song.
Now it's time to say good night. Good night. Sleep tight. I can't go any further.
What the fuck was that?
That is the last song on the White Album.
I didn't know. I was just following along with him.
We can edit that out.
And cut.
I am gonna edit that out because we could get in trouble for that.
Oh yeah, that's total fucking copyright.
Is the YouTube
Well, I've seen-
algorithm that good?
Well, I don't know.
Not
but I've
that
se-
good.
No,
Not the notes
probably
we
not.
fucking hit.
Good point.
Yeah, but I've seen game channels with fewer views than ours have to mute their audio because they use copyrighted music.
Now we're
And
gonna
that's a whole other discussion for another episode.
Now please listen to Tim perform "Take It Easy" by the Eagles.
Kitty.
Oh.
Do you have any idea how expensive Eagles music is?
Oh God. Well, I heard.
Either we take it down or it costs
Johnny come
$150,000.
lately, the new kid in town.
Oh,
Fair
man.
use. Fair use.
You know when
I got the guitar, and I just thought I'd play it out a little bit.
I had this
You know, I
problem
was
with
gonna
this
play
other
some
comic who
Eagles
played
licks,
guitar.
but you know the YouTube guys, they keep getting on my ass, man. I don't know what's in their head.
I'm figuring it out.
Timmy has left his position and
Oh,
he's
God.
gone to retrieve a guitar.
Now, for listening audience,
I think we're gonna close out with Timmy's guitar solo.
So, like, I don't know, man. I started picking up the guitar. I've been learning the chords, and
Wait, Tim, play an F. Play an F.
okay, here we go, man. I'm gonna go for the F.
That guitar is gonna be way out of tune.
Yeah, it is.
Way out of okay.
a guitar that's such a piece of shit, it makes
So,
Tim break character.
So I think we're ready to finish. So I will say for Jeff, for John, and for Timmy Baritone.
Don't speak for me, please.
So
Wait.
I'm used to.
What-
Wait, what are
what's
we
that?
doing?
What was John's outro?
These are the jokes.
You've thrown me off completely.
These
in
are
this
the
episode.
jokes.
These are the jokes. If you
These
would
are the
please.
jokes, you know? Funny American
They're from-
humor.
They're from Sweden. So
Okay, that guy's gone.
yeah, well. Let's face it. He went when we were making fun of him before. So
We will alienate your audience.
hey, if you're listening from another country,
Let
we
us
will
know
find
so
a
we
way
can
to
make fun
alienate
of
you.
it.
Yeah, let us know so we can make fun of you. Okay, so for Jeff, for John, for Timmy Baritone, I'm Lawrence saying so long, everybody. Bye bye.
I'm going.